Hey, this is Blue,
And this is Loop.
and we will be starting the Netflix series Stranger Things today, and we will, of course, be starting with Season 1, Episode 1.
I have watched the show before, and my co-host hasn't. So,
You've watched all 3 seasons that are
yeah.
on Netflix, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only watched the first few episodes of Season 1, so basically everything that happens will be fresh for me. I have not read any spoilers. I don't know what
It'll
happens.
be good to get like some different perspectives.
Yeah, but you will be spoiler free for me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're not gonna spoil it for me or the
Of course
audience.
not. Yeah, of course
Okay.
not. It is a great show though, and it's a huge hit, and it's really.
Do you recommend it?
I definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it. But I think most people, if you haven't heard of this show or, seen it, you're probably living under a rock somewhere. But it's excellent, and you just have to check it out. And
Your favorite season was season 2, correct?
I think so, but it's tough. All seasons have really good parts in them, but I do believe that season 2 was the best.
Yeah.
Personally.
Okay. Well, we will be starting, of course, like I said, with episode 1, season 1, and actually they call the episode titles chapters, so it's kind of like a book. It's cool. So, chapter 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers. On his way, this is the episode description. On his way home from a friend's house, young Will sees something terrifying. Nearby, a sinister secret lurks in the depths of a government lab. And let's check out this episode. So, this whole series is set, in 1983, or the 80s. So this November 6, 1983, Hawkins, Indiana, is the title card.
The year I was born, and
I was not alive yet, by the way. I'm younger than him.
I think for this show, definitely there's a lot of
Hawkins National Laboratory, U.S. Department of Energy. Sorry, that's what the title says.
there's a lot of fears of Big Brother and paranoia about Big Brother. That was probably
George Orwell had written a novel called 1984, right?
prevalent in the 80s.
Yeah. Right.
The Russian threat and all that stuff that was going on back then.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. With Gorbachev.
Yeah, the Cold War was still going on and everything. So
Right. We feared nuclear.
Mhm.
Kind of like now.
I think they did a good job of capturing it.
Yeah. Okay, so we see this man in a government lab in a white coat. Obviously works for the government, and he's running terrified, and he runs into an elevator shaft. And he's like, there's like strobe lights, and he's pressing the elevator button, and you can tell there's something coming. He looks all like panicky. And then he looks up and something grabs him. So it's like you're already getting the series started with a bang. Like, it's already
for sure.
intense. So what I like about the first few episodes I've seen of this show is that it's a coming of age show, and that's like that's probably my favorite genre of literature and movies and TV. I really like coming of age stories.
Yeah.
And I am like an aspiring novelist, and those are the types of stories I write as well. The Demogorgon. Okay.
We go in here and they're in a house in like an idyllic
Well,
suburb.
who's in the house? You have to...
The kids are in a house.
Okay, so we got 4 boys. How old do you think they are? Probably 11 or 12. They look like they're in middle school.
Yes.
So the boys' names are Mike. He's kind of like the leader. He's in the new It movie, It Chapter 2.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or It in It Chapter 2. Remember, he plays Richie?
Oh, yeah.
We have seen It, remember? And he was Richie,
Okay.
the smart aleck kid.
Yeah.
And then we have Dustin, who's one of the other boys, and then Lucas and Will. And they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, correct?
Yes. A game that I never played when I was growing up, period. So
Yeah.
I only played like Magic a couple of times when I was a kid, but I didn't really know anyone who played D&D.
I'm sure Dungeons and Dragons was at its peak in the 80s, or was that when it was first invented? I don't really... Sorry,
sure.
I don't know the history of D&D. I'm not an expert. So they hear a noise, and then Mike goes upstairs and and talks to his mother, and she's like, "You've been playing for 10 hours?" And then, of course, like, we're basically being exposed to, like, his family. His parents are kind of like those typical 80s parents that are kind of, like, self-absorbed and self-involved. They never know what's going on. Like, if you think about it, like, all these adventure movies, like, you have E.T., you have, like, do you know any other ones? Like, do you know what I'm saying? This show reminds me a lot of E.T. The government, there's, like, some secret, they get the young boys on bikes, just that whole, and it was around the same time. E.T. came out in 1982, this is set in 1983. It has, like, a similar feel of, like, the innocence of childhood, but then something sinister is happening, and the government, or is the government with you or against you, plays into the paranoia fears.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
When people thought, remember in the 90s, the Furby was the government listening in on you and recording you.
Yeah.
I used to tell my little sister, I was like, the Furby is a gremlin and the government is spying on you. I know. I'm sister of the year. Anyway, so, you know what? I really miss bike riding. I mean, we are children of the 90s, and bike riding was, like, the thing. I mean, I used to bike ride around the neighborhood with my friends, and that was really, you know, our only mode of transportation. It was so fun. Like, it was a great form of exercise, too, but it was just so freeing. I really miss it.
Yep, definitely. If you lived in a safe area, of course.
Cool. Yeah. So the boys, they were all at Mike's house, and now Lucas, Dustin, and Will are bike riding to their respective houses. And, of course, we know that something bad is going to happen. What I like about this music, it's kind of like a techno music. It reminds me of Tangerine Dream, that band or that music group that did the music for Risky Business and stuff. Risky Business came out the same year this series is set, and it's like, do you remember the music from Risky Business?
Yeah.
Doesn't this music sound like Tangerine Dream a bit?
It's kind of similar, yeah.
Yeah, it's got like synthesizers and kind of a little techno. That's what it reminded me of. I don't know if that was the inspiration, but that's what it reminded me of. Okay, so Will's going into the restricted area. He's bike riding into the restricted government area. Okay. He doesn't see that sign. All right, whatever. Oh damn! And then is that the Demogorgon? There was some creature in the middle of the road, and he runs his bike into the grass and falls off of it. And now he's coming face to face with something that's growling, and we can't see it. And he gasps and runs away and leaves his bike there. So it's already like sinister, and he's running for his life. We know that something's going to get him.
Yep.
Now, the Demogorgon is a character in D&D.
I didn't know that.
Well, remember when they were playing the game, they were talking about Demogorgon. So it basically, the Demogorgons come to life.
Gotcha, yeah. That's how it got its nickname.
Yeah. So now Will's run back to his house, and he's looking around and he hears an indistinct screeching. Well, that's always like a good sign. That's not ominous. He's on the phone, and he's like, hello, hello? And there's just static cracking, and then more screeching. And then his dog is barking, and he's like looking around, and there's something at the door growling.
And of course, no one's home.
Yeah. And, oh wow, the deadbolt just becomes like unlocked, and so he runs. See what? Okay, why are you leaving the safety of your house to run into your, tool shed? Oh, because he's grabbing what's he grabbing? He's grabbing a gun.
Yep.
He knows where the bullets are. But actually, they did it right. They don't put the bullets in the gun. They have the gun unloaded. And that's just probably safety. That's a good safety thing.
Probably.
Even in the 80s? Hey.
Yeah.
Thinking ahead.
Yep.
And is that a shotgun?
It's a rifle.
Oh, rifle. Because you grew up around guns, so you're familiar with it. Did your grandfather, your dad, keep guns in the tool shed? They kept it in your house, didn't they?
Probably.
Yeah. So now, whatever the creature is, come on, the creature is the Demogorgon, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. He's gotten Will, and Will's gone. And all we heard was screeching, and Will's disappeared. So it's already, I mean, hence you already knew coming into it the title, and now we have the theme music playing. Winona Ryder's in this. I'll talk about her in a second. We just have the theme music with all the cast members and the title credits. But I was saying you already knew Will was going to disappear. I mean, the episode title is The Vanishing of Will Byers, so that wasn't a surprise to anyone or a shock.
No.
Winona Ryder, I mean, like I said, I've seen a few episodes of this first season. She was one of my girl crushes. If you think about the 80s and 90s, I mean, she was such a big star.
Just say one of everyone's crushes.
Well, fine. She still looks good. She's, I believe, almost 50. She looks amazing.
Yeah. She's held up balls.
Little Women, Heathers, Beetlejuice. I mean, she was the queen of teen/young adult dramas, comedies in the 80s and 90s. I mean, she's, till the end of season 3. But he's very gritty.
Definitely.
Like, I think he was well casted because you just believe him as like this like grizzled like sheriff who's just seen it all, and he's just kind of like disillusioned by life.
Definitely.
You can tell he's had like a hard life. Okay, so he's left his house and you see beer cans all over his table. He's gone to work, and now, okay, so Will's mother's name is Joyce, and that's played by Winona Ryder, and Will's brother's name is Jonathan. And to get you a picture, if you haven't seen the show, Jonathan, to me, the actor, looks like a cross between Harry Styles and the late River Phoenix. And I find both Harry Styles and River Phoenix very attractive. So, therefore, it would stand that I find this actor who plays Jonathan attractive. And also, spoiler, I also find the guy who plays Steve attractive, Nancy's boyfriend. Nancy is Mike's sister, and Steve is her boyfriend, and I find him sexy too, so...
Once again, this is way too much information I don't need to hear.
Okay, you can be lusting after Winona Ryder, and I can be lusting after Winona Ryder, Jonathan, Steve, and the sheriff. Okay. Anyway, Nancy's kind of so I like I said, Nancy's Mike's sister. Nancy's kind of the all typical girl next door. She's kind of like the good girl, correct?
I would say so.
Yeah, she reminds me, she looks like Emmy Rossum from Shameless. That's who she looks like to me.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But later on she gets more.
Well, don't spoil it.
I don't understand. Even in the first couple episodes.
She has a character. She's a
like,
character arc.
Yeah.
So she transforms.
Yeah.
Right. She's multi-dimensional.
Right.
Oh yeah, Hawkins Middle School. Yeah, see that they are in middle school. That's what I thought. So they're probably, like I said, the 4 boys are probably 11, 12, somewhere in that area. And they arrive at school and they're like, I don't see Will. And they're like, he probably just went to class early again. Yeah, he's always paranoid. He's gonna get a pop quiz. And now we have the typical bullies again, because every school in America has bullies, or every school around the world. You know what this reminds me of too? Stephen King. Remember Stephen King always has the bullies.
Yeah, definitely.
The bullies, the underdogs, or the nerds, quote unquote.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's what I like. See, that's why I like this show too, because it has so many different genres. Not only is it a horror show, a comedy, drama, action, it's also coming of age. It really is, you can't really pinpoint it into one genre, which I like. I like stories like that.
I think that's why it's such a big hit.
Yeah, because there's something for everyone.
Yes, definitely.
And it's got an amazing soundtrack. If anyone loves 80s music, I mean, I was writing down, like, a lot of the songs that I heard.
A lot of the parents now are watching the show with their kids and stuff, so...
Yeah. Oh, there's Barb. I didn't know she was in this episode.
Well, now you know.
So Barb is Nancy's best friend, and you know what this reminds me of right now? The Wonder Years. Like, Nancy's Winnie Cooper. Barb was, like, Kevin's friend. What's his name? Oh my god. Oh, Kevin's best friend in the show.
I don't know.
I can't remember right now. I only know the actor's name. I can't think of.
You're the brain of
the
this
actor.
operation. So.
I was a huge fan of The Wonder Years, and I'm having a brain freeze about who Kevin Arnold's best friend was. I think Paul. There it is. Paul.
Yeah.
Paul. I knew it would come to me. Oh yeah, woo! Sorry. Nancy and Steve are getting it on, and by me getting it on, making out in
Some
the school
good girl.
bathroom.
Yeah, right.
That was me though, in high school. You crazy? That was me all day.
You went in bathroom.
Yes, I did.
When you were in high school.
Yes. My best friend, shout out to my best friend if she's listening. She knows she used to stand guard outside the door. Yes, I used to. That's what this show does. It captures, like, does everyone remember when they were young and hormonal and a teenager, and all you wanted to do was just make out or, like, be with the guy or the girl that you, like, were in a relationship with, because you just had such, like, yeah, you classified it as love, but sometimes it was just lust, because you're just so horny. It's true. I'm sorry. Like, you were a young boy once. Come on now. I just miss it. I miss, like, it's just such a rush. It's just... yes, I used to make out in bathrooms. I used to do more in bathrooms, but that's an R-rated version. I'm not going to get too personal with the listeners. Yeah. Anyway, so Nancy and Barb are kind of... Do you think that Barb is the nerdier of the two girls? Probably.
Definitely.
Yeah. And Nancy, she's more like straight-laced, but you're saying then she becomes a little bit more wild and parties more as the show goes on.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sheriff Hopper, he's eating some donuts and coffee. Oh, yeah. He's
I like a donut right now.
I know, it looks good. He's eating like a glazed donut. It looks good. And then he's at the office or, the sheriff's station, and the receptionist or someone is telling him, like, Joyce Byers can't find her son. And he's just like, okay, whatever. Like, he doesn't really, he kind of, blows it off.
Yeah, it's not a big deal at this point.
Yeah. And now Joyce is in his office, and she's hysterical.
She's about to make it a big deal.
Yeah. And now they're filing a missing persons report. And he's like, I apologize to keep you waiting. She's like, I'm going out of my mind. And he's like, look, he's just playing hooky, okay? And she's like, no, he's not like that. And then they kind of get into an interesting discussion about how Will got made fun of because people thought he was gay. Although they use that slang, that derogatory term for it. She whispers it to him. And Sheriff Hopper is basically like, well, is he? Like, he doesn't even be like, oh, like, I don't know. I guess, like, in 1983, people weren't as open with sexuality. Especially because you have to think about it. Wait a second. The AIDS crisis really began in 1985. Remember when Rock Hudson came out, and then the AIDS, people were scared about AIDS, and they were all dying from AIDS. Mm-hmm. So Joyce was just saying how, Will people thought he was queer, people thought he was gay, and Sheriff Hopper's like, well, is he? And I don't know, so do you have any insights about that? Do you think that's just a product of the time, that they had to whisper all that? It was very, hush-hush.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely a product of the time.
Hey everyone, Blue here, one half of Blue and Loop, Talk Movies and TV. Listener support means the world to us. So any of our devoted listeners want to help us out and do a monthly donation, that would be amazing. That would allow us to continue to do these podcasts, which we've found are so enjoyable for us and something that we have a real passion for. No amount is too big or small. We will appreciate any and all donations. Life can be really hard sometimes, and these podcasts have proven to us to be a creative outlet from everything else that's going on in our lives. So we would really appreciate the listener support, and please consider doing a monthly donation so we can keep doing what we love to do, which are these podcasts. It's really proved to be such a reprieve for us. Thank you, and keep tuning in. to find our listener support page, it's just on our Anchor page, anchor.fm, where you hopefully found this podcast or maybe used a different platform, but we have our podcast on anchor.fm. Just search for us if you haven't found us on there. And on our page, there will be a button to support, donate. Click on it, and everything is self-explanatory. And we really appreciate your support. Seriously. Thank you, everyone. All of our fans.
E.T.
This show
character.
borrows from a few different,
Meaning like she's a mystical person that people,
big time,
that the government wants.
This show borrows from a few different big time.
Yeah.
Horror movies and stuff, and or just movies in general. So
yeah,
like the
So
Poltergeist
what?
and stuff.
So Poltergeist.
Yeah.
How did it borrow from that?
Well, I discussed it when we reviewed it the other night. That like a lot, how there's another alternate dimension and stuff, and a dark place kind of.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what was all over the wall? It was like some type of like creature, like breathing. It's like a heart.
Yeah.
Was that the Demogorgons? Like like home. It looked
more or less.
It's like eggs or whatever.
Yeah.
That's where it was living or something.
Yep.
Its nest or something.
Yep.
Okay. So we meet this girl. Actually, she has a shaved head. So I rocked a shaved head for a while there.
She's in a gown.
She looks a lot better than I did. Yeah, she's in a hospital gown. And this is what I was talking about. Chris Sullivan, Toby from This Is Us. He was in this episode.
Damn
as
it.
the short order cook.
There's Toby.
Yep. And she, like I said, she's wearing a dirty hospital gown. She looks about 11 or 12. She walks, and her name's 11.
11 or 12, you just...
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
She must be 11.
Yeah.
11 named 11.
She sees a bag.
Oh, those fries look good.
She sees some French fries.
She sees a basket of French fries. She starts eating them.
those.
And then he catches her. Chris Sullivan's character catches her.
Oh, God.
She just starts, shoving them in her mouth. I mean, those fries look good, though. I'll do that, too. He's like, hey. And he thinks that she's a boy. And he's like, what the hell?
Come here, kid.
Yeah.
Get your ass over here.
Yeah. He's like, you think you can steal from me, boy?
But it's
And then
not
he
a boy.
realizes, like, it's a girl. And he's like, what in the hell?
I ain't never seen no damn short-haired girl before.
Oh, yeah. Wait a second. No, that's not even... Wait a second. 1983. Do you know which... Name a famous person in that era that had short hair. I can think of one off the top of my head.
Sinead O'Connor.
No, that was in the 90s.
Oh, or...
Pat Benatar.
Oh, yeah.
She was huge in the 80s. So, short haircut is what I'm saying. It's not that revolutionary. Although, I don't think the average woman had that short... Well, she had a shaved head. You're right, Sinead O'Connor in the 90s, but... So, the boys are at school, and they're doing, like, a little radio show.
Yep, they have
And
a
then-
ham radio.
Ham radio, so that's what that's called.
Yep.
Okay. And then they get in trouble and have to, like, go to the principal's office.
They're very excited.
About what?
Playing on the radio.
So what is a ham radio? Does that connect you with just everyone?
I think so, within a certain radius.
Oh, okay. So it's not exactly like you're broadcasting to, you know.
I'm not sure about the radius. I'm not an expert. But
I didn't even know that was a ham radio. Well, I guess it
I
makes
just
sense.
said that.
Okay, well, sorry. I missed that
I
part.
just said it.
I'm sorry. So.
You're a ham.
I know. I am a goofball.
Mirkwood, a Lord of the Rings reference.
Oh. Have you ever heard of Mirkwood? He's like, it's from Lord of the Rings. He's like, well, The Hobbit. And then they're fighting about the semantics of
It's all the
where
same.
Mirkwood. It's all the same world
Yeah.
from Tolkien. So they get called in to the principal's office because the Sheriff Hopper is there, and he wants to ask them basically about Will and if they know like where he is, basically.
Sure, I know Baggins. Frodo Baggins.
Yeah. The Shire. Where do you
Sorry.
live? The Shire.
I had to go there.
Yeah.
I do that every time that something like
He's
that
like, this
comes up.
isn't some Lord of the Rings book. The Hobbit. And they're like arguing. And what I like about the boys, like little fighting and stuff, is you actually believe that they're actual friends. I think whoever cast the show did a good job of making people believe there is like a natural chemistry.
Definitely.
And I think every person has their little group of friends, especially at that age, and you can kind of see yourself in them.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I know I did when I was that age, and the guys I hung out with, they all loved what I loved. Like, we all loved, like, Ninja Turtles and wrestling action figures, and, you know, most of us like sports and stuff, too, so it's...
Yeah. So now Joyce is having... It's actually turned out it's a flashback. But Will has a little, like... What would you call that? Like a little log tent?
Yeah.
Like a tent
a
made of...
shack.
Yeah, a tent... Or a shack made of logs. Or wood, or whatever. In the woods, and called it Castle Byers. And she comes in, and she says, we got 2 tickets for Poltergeist.
Oh.
So that's kind of ironic.
That is.
And then she's just, like, remembering when she was with Will and kind of, like, they were laughing together because she was...
It's like, don't take your kid to see Poltergeist. It's just going to fuck him up worse.
Yeah. And now we flash forward to the present, and Joyce and Jonathan are right outside the Castle Byers shack in the woods screaming for Will. And they're like, where are you?
And in the meantime, someone's throwing down a burger.
Yeah. Toby
girl.
from This Is Us, I don't know his name right now, is throwing down, a burger. He's making her a hamburger, and he's feeding her, and...
I haven't had a burger in like 3 months. I'm about to die.
I do think that this actress, Millie Bobby Brown, is probably the breakout star of the show, or she's one of them. Like, to me, she's... Because I think she got nominated for, like, Emmys and stuff. I really think she is one of those... I mean, everyone in this show is obviously great. But I do think she is, like, one of the main...
Or Hopper, I would
breakout
say.
stars. Yeah. I think because she's just so... Like I said, she's, like, the E.T. character. Meaning, like, the government wants to experiment on her. She's vulnerable.
She's definitely got, like, the cool arc, the cool character arc.
Didn't you say, too, that her, like, eyes are, like, my eyes? You said that we, like, look alike in, like, the eyes.
Yes.
The very, like...
You both have very dark eyes.
Yeah. Well, dark, meaning, like, not, like, evil.
No, dark brown.
Yeah. Well, actually, my eyes are auburn, but they have green in them, too. They're brown and green.
Don't get technical on me, okay?
I know. You haven't looked at my eyes enough? You haven't stared into my eyes and my soul? You know the eyes are the windows to the soul, Luke. You haven't gotten lost in my eyes. So she tells him that her name is... No, 11. He's like, what's your name? And she's like, 11. He's like, all right, then. He's like, crazy kid.
Can this guy make me a hamburger?
Yeah. Take it easy. And then he's just, like, sighing. And then he calls social services to be like... basically saying, I think she's been abused or kidnapped. It'd be great if someone could come by. And we know what happens.
Right.
Because we've already
You
seen
just know that some bad shit's about to go down.
Yeah, exactly. You never... Can you trust the government?
When I saw this episode the first time, I was like,
Oh, wait. We have to say, she basically, what we found out, she wanted the fan to stop twirling, and she, like, focused her eyes on it, and it stopped.
She's got superhuman power.
No, she's got telekinesis, like Carrie from Stephen King.
That is a superhuman power.
No, I know. I wish I had telekinesis. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying this show also... And also the title credits, did that remind you of Stephen King? Like, the way that the font was?
Yeah, definitely.
It was like, Christine. I think it was the same title credits as Christine.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of intentional.
No, I know that. And it borrows, like I said, it borrows a lot of 80s movies, TVs, cultural references, books, everything like that. So, telekinesis is basically like Carrie from Stephen King world.
Yeah, also I think...
Then they find, so Sheriff Hopper and his deputies, I assume, they find Will's bike in the woods, and there's no Will in sight, so it's like, wow. So they know that he was in the woods and he's vanished.
Xavier from X-Men. I believe he also has
Telekinesis?
telekinesis powers.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Who are these people? The operators? Oh, back in the 80s, they had like the operators to connect you?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
I remember that.
And then Joyce is on the phone and she's talking to her ex-husband's wife, and she's like, can you put Lonnie on the phone? And the woman disconnects. She's like, bitch. It's like, yeah, go Winona. I do think that Joyce, the character, from what I've seen so far, I like how she's obviously a very passionate woman and really goes to the ends of the earth for her kids.
Definitely.
I think that's a great like role model.
Yeah,
she isn't like
nails
some
it.
like she's not some absentee parent. Basically, we see that the ex-husband is absent and he doesn't care about where he's just
She's like the
a
type of
deadbeat,
mother
and
that
she's like a mother that actually like
would do anything
sacrifice
for
for her
her
children.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Exactly. So now Sheriff Hopper's arrived at Joyce's house at the buyer's home, and she has Will's bike, and he's like, it was just lying there. And she's just like, did it have any blood on it? And he's like, no. And then it's just, and she's like, if you found the bike out here, why are you here? And they're basically trying to figure out, well, Will probably came to the house. He came home. She's like, you didn't think I checked my own house? And then he sees a dent in the wood
He's
panel.
doing some police work.
Yeah. And he's just like, oh, was I here before? And she's like, you don't think I know my own house? And now he's in their family dog is barking at the tool shed, and Sheriff Hopper's going outside to investigate the tool shed.
Because dogs are always smarter than humans.
It's kind of like in Poltergeist, where
Yeah.
their family dog was barking at where the poltergeist went to the wall. Dogs have a sixth sense, or no, seventh sense, or sixth sense. Sorry, sixth sense. That's what it is. No, I believe that they can see other dimensions. They can see ghosts that they observe
They
stuff
can
that we
see dead
cannot
people.
see. Yeah, they can see dead people exactly.
No wonder they're so pissed off all the time.
Yeah. Anyway, so Sheriff Hopper is going to the tool shed, and what does he find in the tool shed? Does he find anything
You
of
can
interest?
quickly see that something's not right. Why is the gun loaded? Why is there bullets there and stuff?
Oh, he notices that the gun was loaded.
Yeah.
Right. And the lights just went off.
Mm-hmm.
That's sketchy.
Yep.
Maybe the light bulb just blew. Why is that a federal case? Like, the light went off. We're using an old light. So now he's investigating with his flashlight.
This show also
There was a strange
has
noise happening.
a really great energy to it. Like a great, the sound is amazing. It's just
The sound effects.
Yeah, they do a really good job of selling what's going on.
Right. Then his deputy's like, what are you, deaf? I've been calling you. What's going on? And he just leaves, doesn't even talk to the guy.
Deputy Doug.
Oh, man. Anyway. Where's he going? He says, you think we got a problem here? So.
Hell yeah.
He's on the trail to something. So Mike is, now we flash to Mike's house, and his family basically lived in that typical home. They kind of look like they're maybe middle class.
Yeah.
So Will is probably lower class because,
I'd say so.
yeah, just from everything
One
we've
parent
seen.
income.
Well, yeah, but not just that, but it didn't seem like they were in the best neighborhood, and kind
They
of
weren't in a dead neighborhood. They were in a house in the middle of the woods.
Okay, fine. But what I'm saying is Mike lives in a typical middle class home. He's got the nuclear family, the two sisters. He's the middle child, and he's got the two parents. And his parents are just very, they just seem very out of it. They don't seem invested in their children's lives, and like I said, just self-absorbed. They didn't know that Nancy had a boyfriend or that she was with Steve, and it's just they are clueless.
Pretty much.
And Mike's like, I'm the only one acting normal. I'm the only one that cares about Will. And the father's like, that's really unfair, son. We care. As he like eats like his food, he's just like, nah.
We care.
We
as long as
care.
we don't have to
Do
interrupt our
anything.
dinner.
Yeah. And she's like, I hope you're enjoying your chicken. That's what the mom said. And he's like, what'd I do? It's like, he can't be bothered. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe the parents care about Will, but it's obvious that, Mike, as one of his best friends, is the only one who's actually trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
The parents are just kind of like, well, of course we care, but they're not really showing that they care.
So there's a search party going on now.
Right, yeah. There's a search party in the woods at night, because that's how you gotta do it.
I guess so.
Why gotta go during the day, man? It's just better at night with flashlights. You can just see
Makes
more,
it creepier.
see better. Yeah, it sets the mood. And then don't you agree that the soundtrack to this show is just, it's
Yeah.
full of like 80s classics.
Yep.
I really, like I said, I wrote down a lot of the songs because I recognized a lot of
It
the songs.
helps
I'm
the show a
a
lot.
big 80s fan in every way.
Yep.
So then Sheriff Hopper is talking about his daughter, and he's like, she lives with her mom in the city because their teacher is like in the search party, and then this woman's like, she died a few years back, his kid. So now we already know that Sheriff Hopper is like in some, denial about his daughter, and he has suffered a loss, and now we kind of like feel more empathy for him. And kind of learn more of his backstory.
Right.
If he's lying about his daughter still being alive, you know that he hasn't come to terms with it.
Yep. So Mike is back at the house.
Man, that's awesome. I think I had a walkie-talkie. So Mike is talking to Lucas on a walkie-talkie.
I had him.
Do you think that only works if they're like close neighbors?
Pretty much.
Okay, so it has to be in a close radius.
Yeah, the one
That's what I
had
figured.
Always.
Yeah, I used to have a walkie-talkie too, but it didn't look like that. It was a lot smaller, but I think I only could use it in my house. Like, I don't think it went to, like, the next door house. Like, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But those are, like, cool. Those are,
Yeah.
basically, if you've seen Saved by the Bell, Zach Morris's cell phone, that's what this walkie-talkie looks like. It's that bulky and just cumbersome. So, Mike's leaving his house on his bike, and he sees Steve just, like, casually playing it off that he's not really trying to climb into Nancy's window. So Nancy's studying her flashcards for her test, and then she sees Steve, and he's tapping at her window to be let in. And I have that bed, I'm pretty sure. Let me look at that bed frame. I'm pretty sure, like, I have that bed frame. Or a similar bed frame. Anyway, Steve comes through her window, because that's just, like, how every... Yes, I think I have that bed frame. Yeah, I have that bed frame, sorry.
Aren't you special?
I am Nancy, I told you. Cast me as Nancy, because I am her. And like I said, it was, like, every typical, like, boyfriend, you always sneak through the bedroom window. Because that's how you show that you really want some.
Yep.
I don't know. You're that desperate for some action that you risk your life to climb up the side of a house.
So we're back at the restaurant, and
I think it's a diner.
Eleven's eating ice cream and talking to the guy. And
To the guy. Isn't his name Benny?
Benny, yeah.
Toby from This Is Us.
Yeah. Toby.
From This Is Us. But
And there's someone at the door.
so he had called, like we said earlier, he had called social services to take her. And the woman arrives. She's like, yeah, I'm from social services. So he lets her in. He's like, I haven't told her that you're coming yet. I don't want her running away. She's a tad skittish. And then what happens? The woman shoots him with a silencer. And then the people from the government, that all those scientists and... Is Dr. Brenner there too? I think he is. So basically, it was all a ruse. They're trying to capture her. They have guns on her. And how's she going to get away? Yeah, there's Dr. Brenner.
Gee, I wonder.
And he walks in, and she has completely annihilated those guys, and she's escaped. So, wow. So she obviously, like we said, we already know she has telekinesis. She obviously has some other. Does she have any other superhuman powers? If she can take down 2 guys with guns drawn on her, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So of course there's a storm coming. The 3 boys, we got Dustin, Lucas, and Mike. They're on their bikes looking for Will. They're like near the woods, and of course it's gonna start raining. And
They did not find Will,
yeah, well, obviously.
and as Gandalf once said,
This is called This episode's called The Vanishing of Will Byers, not The Vanishing and
as Gandalf once
Finding.
said, there never was much hope, just a fool's hope of finding him.
Thank you for your daily Gandalf reference. So the boys are in the woods looking for Will. And back at Mike's house, Nancy and Steve are quote unquote studying.
Yeah.
And they're doing that old studying where every time you get something right, I have to take off an item of clothing. And every time you get something wrong, you gotta do it.
Don't you just love when
Now
people
here's the
study?
thing. I'm sorry. Now I was saying this to you, but this is so true. If it was me and I was like with whoever I was dating at the time, I'd be all over that person. I wouldn't be studying. I'd be making out. I'd be doing other things. I mean, I just find that not believable. So then when they actually do start to make out and it's hot and heavy, I'm like, that's more like it. That makes more sense to me. I can relate to that. Maybe I was just a very horny teenager, but I think the average teenager has a very high sex
We
drive.
don't need to delve into that topic again.
I think maybe somebody might enjoy listening to that. I mean, this is Love Line After Hours. It turns into a different type of show.
Oh my God.
And that's funny. She just says, "My parents are here," and he's like, "That's weird. I don't see them." So you can already tell that Nancy's kind of like this virginal, kind of prude, I want to say almost. Like, I don't want to, I'm not trying to be that harsh, but she's basically saying, I'm not a slut. But here's the thing you have to realize. Making out with a guy doesn't make you a slut. Making out with your boyfriend doesn't make you a slut. I think she kind of didn't understand what a slut meant. Maybe a slut had a different terminology back in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Maybe it meant like any girl who goes with a guy and like kisses him or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, nowadays slut means something different. So they're going back to studying.
Yeah.
Because she kind of turned him down. Now, we're back at the Byers' house, and Joyce and Jonathan are going through old pictures of Joyce and Will when he was a baby, and they're just looking at old family photos.
I think they're trying to make a good wanted poster.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what they're doing.
yeah.
Okay, they're kind of doing a collage, so they really
Yeah.
get more of a
I think they're just trying to
view of
find the
who
best
Will
picture available.
was. Yeah. Okay. So they're going through pictures to find the best picture for
Yeah.
a missing, not a wanted, a missing poster.
Yeah.
Wanted would be something else.
Yeah,
Wanted,
excuse me.
dead or alive.
Excuse me.
Wanted
He might be
for
wanted
riding his
soon.
bike at night in the
Yeah.
woods.
He might be
He
wanted
broke the
soon.
law. Yeah.
Obviously, someone wants his ass, or they want him taking him.
Yeah. So Joyce is apologizing for not being there enough for Jonathan. Because she's like a single mom, basically, and she has to work hard to provide for them.
Yeah.
It's not her fault. Cut her a break, She's trying. So she's like, look at this one. And that seems to be a good picture of Will. And then they're laughing and kind of crying at the same time. And then they decide that this is the picture that they're going to use for the missing poster. Then her phone rings and Joyce answers. There's just static on the phone. She's like, hello? And there's only static, and she thinks it's Lonnie, her ex-husband. And she's like, who is this? There's just muffled breathing. It's like almost like an obscene phone call because the person's not answering. It's just muffled breathing. And then she hears who she thinks is Will, and she hears a scrambled voice. And she's like, Will, is that you? And then there's growling. She's like, what have you done to my boy? Give me back my son. And then there's like an electricity surge. And basically what's happened, the phone like
Melts. Basically.
it's like short circuit.
Yeah.
And they can't use it. It's like, wow, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
And she's like, he just breathed. I know he was there and somebody else was there.
Once
was
again,
him.
Winona
It was him
Ryder
breathing.
kills this.
Yeah. She, like, slays, like, the acting. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason why she's been nominated for more than one Oscar. Because she is that good.
For sure.
Yeah. I think that this was, like, her comeback role.
Yep.
She'd been away from her a while. She hadn't really made anything that had really done well, I think, critically or commercially in a while. So this was definitely her comeback.
Definitely.
So we're back to the boys. Like I said, Lucas, Mike, and Dustin, and they're in the woods on their bikes, and it's raining. It's really raining now, heavy rain, and they're looking. They're like, "What is that?" And then
They're like, that's not Will.
who do they come upon?
11.
11 is standing there in the rain, just like looking at them, and they're all like stunned with their flashlights shining on her face. And that's how the episode ends. That's the end of episode 1.
So what do you think?
And what also I liked, I didn't mention this, in the diner after Benny gets killed and they're chasing after 11, I believe the song White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane's playing. I wrote that down. And also when Steve and Nancy were making out on the bed, they had the song Africa by Toto playing.
Yep.
And those are just some great songs, so I just
Definitely,
had to
definitely.
make note of that because I recognize those songs. So
Did you love the pilot?
yeah, I think the pilot did a really great job of introducing all the characters. They all had something to do in the episode, and of course they started off with a bang where it's like, first of all, Will vanishes by the Demogorgon. So who the fuck's a Demogorgon? Where is he? Then we want to know about, like, you know, what's gonna happen with Will, obviously, and then just 11 and who is 11? Why were those people after her? What, obviously she's got some special powers, telekinesis being one of them.
Yes.
Who the fuck's Dr. Brenner? Is he malicious or is he good? What are they doing in this government lab? And it's just a lot of different stories. And what's Sheriff Hopper's deal? What's
Would you
his
recommend
backstory?
this show to people who haven't seen it?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, first of all, the fact that it's set in 1983, I think, makes it unique. I mean, and it definitely feels like it was set in 83. I mean, I wasn't born yet, but the soundtrack's on point.
Yes.
The entire look of the show, their clothes,
The
everything
feel,
about
the
it, yeah.
vibe.
It's got great production,
Definitely.
design. Like I said, you could tell it was meticulously done to evoke the period,
Yes.
time period. So
I definitely recommend it too, for all the same reasons.
well, you've seen
my
all 3
co-host has
seasons
said.
so far, and you know that it only gets better.
Yeah.
So, exactly. So I think your recommendation right now means more because you've seen the whole
It
series
does
thus
not
far.
disappoint.
Yeah, and there are so many twists and turns.
Yes, definitely.
And I do like to, and I'll say this one more thing real quick. I like how the boys, the 4 boys, are all presented so realistically. They each have their own personality.
Definitely. Yeah.
And you know what I like too? Okay, I'll just say this. Mike is white, Dustin's white, Will is white, and Lucas is black. But I like how him being black is not even a factor. And I'm not bringing that up. I don't know. I guess I'm just saying it kind of reminded me of Saved by the Bell when Lisa was black and all her friends were white, but it didn't matter. To them, it's the person. It's my friend.
It shouldn't
it's my
matter.
best friend. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But in the 80s, it was a different time, and you would think, you have to understand that like segregation had just ended, and 1968 was the civil rights movement, so we weren't that far removed in 1983
Sure.
from all that. And there was a time where interracial marriage was illegal. I think it ended in the 70s. So that's what I'm saying is that, and this is set in Indiana. You have to remember that it's not set in
That's a good point.
LA or New York. It's set in a small town in
Yeah.
Indiana, and the fact that they were that progressive and the kids, and that's what I'm saying. I have friends of all different races and nationalities, and I think that's what's beautiful about this country and this world. And I don't judge somebody based on any of that. I judge them by, like Martin Luther King said, the content of your character.
Right.
And that's what I love about this show is that these kids all have personalities, all of their own unique personalities. They're all relatable. They just seem like great kids. And the sister, Nancy, and her boyfriend, Steve, it's like, I want to know what happens in their relationship, and then who's Jonathan, what's going to happen with him, and Joyce, and just all the there's just so many complexities.
Definitely.
And I've enjoyed it thus far. So this was episode 1.
And that's it, and definitely check it out.
And we will be doing chapter 2 very soon.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Bye.